Now let's dive deep into this breaking LGBTQ story for today. I'm Rex Rogosh, and let's queer up religion. A new pope is chosen, and the LGBTQ faithful hold out hope. After the death of progressive Pope Francis, the world waited for the new selection of a new leader of the world's Catholics. Today, Pope Leo XIV was announced to the world. Robert Prevost, now known as Pope Leo, is the first pope from the United States. Originally from Chicago, he has served the Catholic Church there as well as in Peru. He is known as a centrist with some socially progressive views that match that of his predecessor. The LGBTQ community, especially Christians, wait to see if he will continue the outreach to queer faithful that the Pope Francis was known for. So I know that I look like I have dressed the part of popedom today, but the Pope is definitely, to most people, a political figure. To others, he's right up there. His picture is hung in their house. They look for him for guidance on everything. So it should be interesting to see somebody with American values and American culture, which is completely different than the rest of the world, how he perceives the world and how he reaches out to the world, because I do think that we approach things in religion slightly different. So it'll be interesting to see his point of views.
I think it's actually more fair to say that he is more generally American Pope, since he actually served, since he actually went to Peru and served so long for 2 decades that Peru made him a citizen. So this Pope is not like Dolan or other of the more conservative traditionalist wing of American cardinals and archbishops. This is more of an internationalist pope. He has already came out very strongly months before he was elected against the White House's policy of random deportation. He has said something that is not queer friendly back in 2012, but Catholic Church in 2012 is very different from Catholic Church in 2025, especially after Francis' passing. So I look forward to hear what he has to say. He might say nothing at all, to be honest.
Well, and he's also been, kind of sweep under the rug, about pedophiles within the church as well.
I think every archbishop has that sin on their belt.
So, while he is centrist, he is still part of the Catholic Church. And look, I've always, been somebody who is very against organized religion. So I'm no expert on the Catholic Church by any stretch of any means. But I think it is going to be interesting having an American, even though he spent so much time in Peru, he's still American. He still has somewhat, American, I don't want to say American values, but, there's just a way that you have thinking here in the United States. It is slightly different than the rest of the world. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. And I'm extremely cautiously optimistic. In 2012, I wasn't quite gay friendly and I turned out to be gay. So, I'm going to just wait and see what happens. Pope Francis also, before he became the Pope, he also had a history of really conservative things. And a lot of people, President Obama wasn't quite for gay marriage, until his second term. So I'll just wait to see. I'm not Catholic, so it doesn't necessarily affect me, but I know that they have a lot of influence over, especially here in America, him being an American Pope now, that's going to have a lot of impact on the Catholic community, especially here in the States.
As someone who was raised Catholic, here you were saying in 2012 you weren't as gay friendly and you turned out to be gay. I'm like, I think we could say that about a lot of cardinals these days too. A lot of people talk about this left or right in the Catholic Church, and I think that we're instantly want to do it like American politics, the description. But I think the most fascinating thing was reading in the Wall Street Journal. I know, a very left-wing publication that I tend to read, but it's their finances that are the biggest issue hitting the church right now. It's not their theology. I think this pick had more to do with he worked at a high-level position with Francis. Francis came in after Benedict. Benedict resigned a month after the Italian banks were like, your bank is so messed up we're not doing transactions with you anymore. And that led to that Pope resigning in some ways. And it's just, that's how much of a big deal. Their pension system is a mess. You see all those pretty young men, those pretty Italian Swiss men that were doing all the military looking things today. Yeah. They need pensions. Nuns need pensions. There's hundreds of millions to billions of dollars at stake. There was a report that, when Francis came in, he was trying to clear out, I think it's called the Chiori. It's a bureaucracy. And he hired an auditor And they led to situations where bishops or cardinals were literally having sacks of cash because they didn't want to go through the processes. The auditor's office got broken into, and then a bishop apparently held the auditor at his office for 12 hours, may have kidnapped him. It's a little unclear. The auditor quit. Francis spent most of his papacy dealing with that. Obviously the public stuff looks very nice and it speaks to us, but like this, I think we need to remember is more of they need to write their finances more than figure out their theory.
I think there's also another reminder that despite the fact that we see Pope as a religious and moral leader, he is also the elected absolute monarch of a country. Yes, the country is a piece, the studio is probably bigger than that country, but he is still an absolute ruler of that country. He appoints who get to succeed him, who will be in the curia, who is going to become an archbishop in the case that he pass on, and then someone is going to elect someone else. He had used an immense influence, and if that means that the candidate who got elected is a competent manager that can bring them back from the brink of financial ruin, so be it.
No. Right, and I also have to say one last thing on this story is I just want to say, Pope Rex, you look divine today. For someone who's not into organized religion, you don't have a disorganized outfit.
I thank you very much. And that is our big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.